Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new case from a British manufacturer called Parvum Systems, and it's quite simply called the S2 or the S2.0 if you want to get all down with all the mumbo jumbo. Now this is actually an all acrylic case and it comes flat packed. This is it in its pre-built state, but I did take some video footage of while I was putting it together. Now what I will do is I will put a time link underneath, so if you want to skip the me building it, it will be zoomed up, you know, be sped up anyway, but if you want to skip that, I'll put the link underneath just so that you can skip through easily and get to the next stage of the review. But for all those regulars out there, you now know you need to go and get yourself some tea and biscuits, settle down. It will be quite funny because I'm going to speed it up as much as I possibly can. And then after that, we'll be back to take a look at the system and start going into all the mumbo jumbo. For your destiny. Okay then peeps, so yes, this is a photo, but you'll understand why in a second. Now the Parvum cases do come in different colours, and you can easily just go online and choose the one that you want. So what I wanted to show you is you can obviously get like this normal black and blue model, but then you can also get a white and blue model as well, and that's pretty much the way that the range goes. You can get black and red, but then they also do a white and red version. There's a orange and white one, then a black and orange one, and then you can also, for those NVIDIA fanboys out there, you can get a nice black and green one, and then if you really wanted, you could go down the route of getting a white and green one. They also do a black and white case, but you can also get a rather, and I really like the bling look on this, is the white and gold case as well. So the good thing about these being flat packed is the fact that you can change them. So let's imagine that you have bought yourself a white and green case. You've got an NVIDIA 980 in there, and for argument's sake, in 6 months time the AMD 390X gets released, and suddenly you don't want a green case anymore. What you can then do is go and buy the accent kits. So I'll just show you the red one, and you can go and buy the accent kit and just change the colours on your case. So you just strip a couple of bits out and boom, you can change it. There's obviously a blue one that you can get, and for those of you out there with your masculinity and your testosterone level strong enough, you can even get things like a purple one, and then also a pink one as well, which I would personally love a white and pink case. Those coloured panels that I showed you previously before basically are these frosted section on this case, and it is at the back as well, which we'll show you in a second. Now this is a white case with a frosted panel. These aren't actually advertised on the Parvum website or on Overclockers, and Overclockers are the main distributor for these. You can go on Overclockers. The standard version of this case comes in at around 139 quid. The one we have today is, just to be very clear, slightly customised, which you can see there. Obviously on those photos that you've seen previously, you could, this would normally have a fan grille on it, and we have got the panels here, because we've got the standard ones. We have got the panels so that you can see that's the panel that we've got on ours, so we've got the grille missing. There's the one with the extra grille, and that's what it would have looked like if I'd got them the right way around. They're not meant to crisscross like that, it's just because I've... There we go. So you can have the standard look, and this is how you could normally buy it. Now the reason why we've done this is A, I know the Parvum boys pretty well, but also they do a custom case service. Now you have to contact them through their website and go through them that way, but we just got the Overclock 3D logo inlaid on this, just to show you the kind of level of the work that they do. Now, we had been, you know, the people have said online that their stuff, the designs aren't that great, and you know the way everything lines up's not brilliant. But this inlay is practically dead level, and there's no glue or anything holding that in. It's literally just there. And we've also got the one with the colours right, because we are slowly turning the site to this colour. We're sacking off the blue. So that's just to show you the type of thing that you can do should you want to. Apparently our logo is like the perfect match for their inlays, and we've done quite a few bits with Parvum on it in the past. We did the bottom of the graphics card test rig, which we took to iSeries, for example, and we did the Strix panel as well. So there are, you know, a lot of customizing options for you there. So if you just imagine that would normally have a 120mm fan in it, but for the sake of this review and the fact that I think it looks fucking amazing in the front, we've just done it like this. Also, with the fact that we had ours frosted, it does help me show you about lighting. When we change the colours of the lights in a little bit, essentially what you can think about is that was what your case might look like if you had the coloured panels and you just had white lights on the inside. But from now on, we're going to go into our normal review format, and we'll treat this like we would a normal case. So on this side, we've got the power switch, which comes with it. It's actually a nice Vandal resistant switch. It's like one of the aftermarket ones you'd buy on one of the custom sites to fit in your other case, like a normal case. And I love the push on this. It does light up as well, and it does come with all of the loom on the inside. We've got two USB 3s on this. On the slightly newer Parvum cases, the gap for the USB 3 is much narrower. They've changed the connection. This is one of the older designs. This is how the new one looks. And obviously there you can see the cutout for the switch. I actually really like this frosted acrylic. I think I might have to do some stuff with this personally. But we have the mount in the front. All of the connections for the fans are actually behind this, and you would have to take these 4 screws out to be able to get to it. But this does also mean that if I wanted to change this panel, I've only got to undo 4 bolts, and I can change this front panel. Same again on the other side, you've only got another 4 screws and you can change the panel behind, so it is actually quite easy to upgrade these. Okay, onto this side of the case. This side of the case is where you've got the grill for your power supply, which I'll show you on the other side in a minute. I'm going to have to undo these 4 screws to be able to take this off, but the reason why I've got it on this angle is so that you can see this is pretty much the only line that you're going to get from the acrylic, like your coloured acrylic. So if you've got a white and green case, these ones will light up, or that will be your green lines that are on it. And that's the only lines on the case that will differentiate from the main body of the case. Okay, so this is the back section of the case, and right up the very front of the case you can see that we've got a cutout here. This is for your front fans to be able to put your cables through. There are a selection of cutouts along this wider section. There's actually 2 sections to the case, and you've got one that's about 35mm wide, and you've got the power supply section, which is probably about 95mm wide. So you've got plenty of room here for your cables, so that you can keep all your cables predominantly in this part of the case. There's also a large CPU cutout area there, and there is a couple of cutouts at the top of the case up here where you can put your 8-pin power through and your rear fan through should you need to. So even though it is quite a compact case, there is still plenty of room in the back there for you to be able to keep all your cables and stuff through. This loose one up here is actually for the lighting, which I'll show you in a minute, and I've got it wedged in the roof, but I will go through that with you. The power supply that we're using in the back of this case is what I would call a normal ATX spec, which means it's 160mm long. The case is actually designed to be able to take longer power supplies should you need it, but the longer your power supply is, the less amount of room that you are going to have with your cables. I think that this 160mm length is absolutely perfect. And with something like the AX860, you're going to have enough power there to be able to run a single 290X with plenty of headroom, or that power supply is actually easily capable of running a pair of 980s as well, but obviously this is only an M80X case, so when we get to the other side you are going to have to think about cooling and stuff if you plan on running multi-config cases anyway. So that's the back section of the case. Now we need to have a look at the old girl's arse. Round to the rear section of the case. Now it's this time that you can see that the first proper look that I've given you so far that it's a M80X case. This section on all of the newer panels will either, or newer cases rather, will either be black or white. I do have the white one here, the boys have sent me one, but I've just not got round to fitting it. Now this is probably the bit about the case that I personally don't like the most, and that's the 80mm fans for the back. You've got one on this side, and this one doesn't really get any airflow from anywhere other than the grill for the power supply, so I really don't see the point in this being up here. And these two on this side, you know, it's just because of the 80mm fan thing. I think for me, I like to have things all matching. I have to admit, if I was going to run one of these personally, I would actually have these back sections just blanked off completely. Yes, I suppose as long as you make sure that you've got the airflow correct on the inside of the case, you can have these for just extra ventilation. I personally, it just makes my teeth itch. Where there's such small fans, it makes me think that the case looks a little dated. And I think that not just about the Parvum cases, but on any of the other cases that I've seen come through with 80mm fans there. Yeah, 80mm, 90mm, 92mm, just it doesn't seem to work in my head personally. Now I know that the reason why they've gone for 80mm fans is it's better to have them there than not have them there. You obviously couldn't fit 120mm in the case that's this, in a case that is this size, and you'd have to make it quite a bit wider if you wanted to fit a 120mm fan in the back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the actual 80s being there is just something that I personally don't like. These things sell like hotcakes, so it's not like it bothers a lot of other people. Like I said, if it was me and I was going to have a custom one of these done, I would just have them without those grills there at all. Round to the business side of the case, you can see that we have an enormous window, and it's pretty much the entire side of the case. Now we've got a lovely beveled edge here that you can see, and this window is dead easy to change. I actually really like the clear one, especially with this white. Now we have got some LEDs fitted in the case, and just in case you're wondering why they're just there, it's because I didn't stick them there because I have changed the colours on the LED so that I can give you a look through these. So what I have done is I've done the white that we've got now, and this is just I showed this that you can show the logo lit up, and you can see the way it can kind of affect things. But what I did is like an earth, wind, fire and water. So if we went to earth, which is obviously the green, this is just a green LED strip in this case. And that's all I've done. Now another reason why I've done this is if you were to imagine that you had the green and white case and you put white LEDs inside, this would be the type of look that you would get. Earth, wind, if we went to wind, that's obviously your white. That's the one that we're going to be taking a look at today. Fire, red. Same again, just a red LED strip on the inside, nothing else changed on that white case. So if you had the white and red one with white LEDs in the inside, this is the way it could look. And then water, blue, again, just a blue LED strip inside. So if you can forgive me for the white LED strip that is just up there, it is literally just being held in there with some zip clips, zip ties, and that's literally so I could just take them in and out. I didn't want to stick them in place because I do have to use these LEDs in other reviews. So you can see the way it can look, and I just want to show you when I turn the studio lights off, the way things can look there. I do actually really like the way it catches the acrylic on the left hand side. Now that's a very simple placement there. The thing with these cases is, the best thing I can say is don't stick them in, just, you know, don't just get them out of the packet and stick them in. Actually move them around so that you can get a chance to see the way things change in the case, because you can get some awesome little effects with the LEDs going through the acrylic, and you can actually see like fingers going out. There's lots of different things that you can do, so please have a play around with them. Also, don't just stick with one sort of LEDs. If you can afford it, maybe try a couple of different types and play around with the effects, because if you spend time with the effects on this acrylic, you can actually make these things look amazing and much better than I have with just a bloody a set of LEDs clipped in there. In case you're wondering, the ones that I use, they are Bit Phoenix sticky LED strips. They are like fucking floodlights. They're absolutely epic. I personally do favour the white ones because then it does bring out all the other different colours. I would probably, if I was going to keep this for myself, I'd probably have another LED strip down here or something to be able to pick things out, or maybe even one at the top somewhere to be able to highlight the colours on the motherboard a little bit better. Onto the main section of the case, and I'm going to move the camera around a little bit so I can show you certain things as we go around, but we'll talk about cooling while we've got a good angle for it. We've got a H100 just fitted in the roof. I went for that for simplicity. A lot of people are favouring these cases for custom liquid cooled setups. Now what I would say is, personally, especially with this motherboard, you've got ample room to be able to run the H100i up here. You could also manage to get yourself a second set of fans in here if you really wanted to as well, to be able to run push-pull. Maximum radiator thickness, at least with this motherboard and this memory as well, I would probably say a maximum radiator thickness of about 50 millimeters. In the front, there's ample room for you to easily be able to get a 60mm radiator in here with your single set of fans, or a 40mm radiator with two sets of fans. One thing that you will need to keep in mind is if you want to have dual radiators in here, this is going to be the main compartment area that's going to be available for you to be able to put your pump and reservoir in as well. So when you get these, please do consider these options greatly. But one thing I will say is, because of the popularity of these cases and the custom nature of them, there are some awesome build logs around for you to be able to take inspiration from. My system is admittedly a very kind of sort of like just very, it's a build, it's not a mod, it's just some parts that I had laying around. This is an Asus 780 Ti Matrix, and the reason why I use this is because where it's an extra width card, you can see it comes out from the PCI slot. The cables were touching the window, and that was just one of the things I was going to draw, is that a fatter card, the cables may touch the window. It did mean that when I was screwing in this side, as it got down tighter, I could feel the cables being moved, but it all run fine, and this is probably the widest sort of card you're going to get anyway. But what this does also mean is if you're running liquid cooling and you've got tubes that come out the side of your normal card, then there is ample room in here for it. There is a good 60mm of this gap from the top of the expansion card mount up to the side of the case, so I really wouldn't worry too much about that. Actually, I do apologise, it's not 60, it's 55mm, because I had to allow for the window and not just the actual edge of the case. So there's ample room for that. Now we have got a bit of a wonky donkey angle going on here, but it's the best way I can get the height on my camera and the angle on the case. Yes, the LED strip is not pretty, but I've already explained that. We do have four circular holes at the top. We've got two rectangular holes, predominantly for you to be able to put your 24 pin through and then your PCI Express cables through. And then there is two more circular holes at the bottom for things like your front panel headers, power switch cables, all that type of stuff, or maybe even possibly SATA cables if they are right near the bottom like we have on ours. But as you can see, there's no grommets or anything there. It is kind of simple. It's the bend on the case is perfect there for the edge of the motherboard. It goes straight down from that point. But you can see that you do have a good amount of area down here where it's flat, and this is obviously where you'd normally have your two fans coming in. If you did have the normal case with the two fans in the front, you could easily have the H100i mounted in the front if you wished, or you're going to have the fans blowing straight over your graphics card, and you know, over all these areas, help get your MOSFETs and everything cool. So it's a simple design, but with its simplicity, it's also effective. It's going to be completely down to the fans that you want to run in the case. You can obviously choose, if you want really quiet ones, if you want noisy ones, LED ones, it's all going to come down to you. But in choosing those components, please consider as well that because it is such a small and dainty case and you can do so much with it, your choices are going to reflect the way it all looks at the end. So this is a case that I would spend a lot more time than usual trying to pick the right bit so that the overall product at the end, the overall build at the end, looked extra good. Right then peeps, so on to the conclusion, and we always start with the award and then I explain why. Now, I'm going to give it, or the Parvum Systems cases, this one, the S2, the Innovation Award. Now, reason being is because generally with cases like this, it's a case of you buy it and that's it. Bob's your mother's brother, that's it. You're kind of over and done with it. The Parvum stuff is constantly evolving, like the fact that you can now change the accent panels. But mostly, and this is the bit about the stuff that I like the most, is obviously you've got an easy retail route that you can go to with overclockers that you can go into, just click buy, have them done, lovely. But then you can, if you want to, go away and get some bits custom done for you as well. You can get your whole case done from the ground up custom. Obviously there's if you design it yourself, you're going to save money. But if the boys have got to sit there and design it and stuff, you're obviously going to be paying for their time and stuff as well. Now that's not a negative thing, that's just a normal, run-of-the-mill business thing. There's just some of you out there who kind of need to have these things pointed out to you a little bit clearer than most of us. So with things like the inlaid OC 3D thing, you can have what you want done. The world's your oyster, the world's your lobster, your brain's your lobster, mine is fried. But it's the way that the Parvum boys work with the end user, the way they work with overclockers, the way I've seen them at shows, because I do know the lads quite well. I've met them a few times, and it's the way they interact with everyone. And that's why I kind of went with the Innovation Award. It's because they've taken something that I personally predominantly wouldn't have liked. I'm not a fan of like the mountain mods cases, for example, but they've taken this and they've evolved this, what is essentially quite a basic flat pack acrylic design, and taken it out to a level that even someone like me that, like I said, would generally not have liked this, I've actually really fallen for it. It does help as well, because obviously I'm a Brit, I'm from Blighty, that it is made, designed in Britain by lads, that live in Britain as well. I'm not going to kind of start naming, where they are and stuff, because knowing Justin, he's a bit of a tart, bless him, and he'll end up getting mobbed by all the girls if he doesn't enough already. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But the case is actually really nice, and the thing is it's the type of, another reason why I gave it the Innovation Award, is this case really lends itself to people that want to sit there and put a little bit more thought in a design. Mine is very basic, it is just a build for this review, but the more time that you spend working with this thing, deciding where the parts are going to go, what parts you're going to use, how you're going to light it, how you're going to do it, you can really make yours stand way out from the crowd. And the thing is it's actually really easy to mod and adapt things as well, because you don't really need any massively specialist tools. You can go and get custom bits made for it if you want, or you can even decide to try and make bits yourself. It just lends itself. It's a proper modder's case, or someone that wants to be a little bit different. If I was going to put negative points on it, then I would say that the fan grills are a bit basic, but again, I don't like the 80 mils in the back. But with the fan grills, if you want to try and tidy things up, you can obviously put dust filters and stuff like that in it as well. It's not a negative point, but I think it's something that the boys could possibly work on in future, is actual LED mounts in these, so that you can light things up slightly better. Maybe if they can find people to make them up as well, actually try and look at ways that they can send these with LEDs built in, so that they light stuff up better. Because of the acrylic, I don't think that you really get the best from it until you do start putting LEDs and stuff through it, and you can come up with some amazing effects. But again, that's not particularly like a negative point, that's just maybe something I've got sort of bouncing round through my head and stuff like that. Now, people will be saying, if I was going to give it an award, what would I have given it? And the reason why I went with the Innovation Award is because of the relationship that I've got with Parvum, and I do know him really well. I didn't just want to give him a gold award and then people kind of just go, oh, it's just because he knows them. So I went with that Innovation Award to try and explain to you that it's something that you can really get the best from if you put the time in with it. It's not that it's not a great product in the first place, it is, but it's the type of thing that should inspire you to make you want to build a better rig. It's not like one of the normal mainstream cases where you literally just throw your parts at it, you know, thread cables through it and done. This, you're going to get so much more from it with a little bit of time and effort, and that's the type of thing that is going to annoy many, but it also may inspire, you know, many as well. So it could be a bit of a Marmite case. I'm fully aware of all that. I personally, like I said, when I first saw these, I actually didn't like them. And then when I did see one at one of the I-Series shows, I properly fell for it, to the point, like I've said, I've been working with the boys, asking them to do these inlays. They've made stuff for me for cases and stuff in the past, and I knew I had to get one. After the fact that this has come through, I am going to get the boys to make me a custom one up to do my solid state drive testing in, because like I said, there's where they are, you can modify them, you can have stuff tweaked, you can have stuff tailored for you. I'm going to get the Parvum boys to tailor make me something for the for the solid state drive test rig that I've got, that we're going to adapt this basic design slightly better to help show off the solid state drives. And that's something I'm actually quite enthused about, and that wasn't actually planned until I saw this one. And most importantly, they sent me this black inlay, because I've absolutely fallen in love with seeing the colours in a physical form. Because I've obviously had stickers and stuff in the past, I've seen it on the website, but when it becomes like a proper 3D object that you can play around with, it totally changes stuff. So, thoroughly thoroughly, yeah, you know what I'm on about. My brain's absolutely gone today. Innovation Award for the Parvum boys. Sorry it took so long, Peach. I promise the next one won't. Yeah, when are you going to bring out the next one? Anyway, this is Tiny Tom Logan with the Parvum Systems S2. My phone keeps going off. It looks like even I'm popular tonight, Justin. Anyway, Innovation Awards, out.